we're going to be doing the emotion dragon giveaway. Oh shoot, where did I put those? I put them back in their bag. Yep, I put them back in the bag. So we'll be doing the emotion dragon giveaway today. I have a kind of a unique way of figuring out who wins those, which will be based on intuition. And then if nobody gets it, I'll keep doing them like this. And as people intuitively guess based on a light code I'm creating, in a few minutes, I'll turn the camera around so that you can watch me creating a light code. And then as I'm creating that light code, there's going to be a specific word that I already have picked out off to the side here that I'm looking for. And whoever gets the word or gets close enough to the word, then I will end up, that will be the giveaway winner. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today first was trust and intuition, making sure you're trusting yourself, trusting your intuition. It's been a big topic as of, I don't know, the past week. I've had tons of people reaching out and asking about how do I trust what I'm feeling? How do I know I'm safe? How do I know I'm protected? And those types of things. And trust comes over time. It's not something that is built immediately. It's not something that is built um, without taking effort, without taking a long time. It took me a long time to trust my guides. It took me a long time to trust the connection and to follow the advice. And a lot of times I did not listen, for certain. I did not listen. And I kick myself for that. The book, the Authentic Extraterrestrial, explains more of that. But in many circumstances, I had small instances where I didn't trust myself, and uh, ended up in the mud, so to speak. And then I had some that lasted years where I didn't trust my intuition. It's something that builds up over time. We start to hear and feel messaging. We start to feel like just driving down the road, go left, go right, go over here, do this, do that. We start to feel those messages and hear those messages coming through. And as they come through, we have a choice in the moment of choosing, do I listen to that or do I do the other thing? And oftentimes it will challenge the ego. There are many times those messages come through, they challenge the ego, and instead of listening, we go with the ego and we end up turning. If they say turn right, we turn left, and we go down the road a mile and find out we're in a construction zone. A good example of that is I didn't trust my intuition the other day. I didn't trust my guides. I trusted them in a way of, I'm like, okay, I know you're telling me not to go here for a reason, but I'm going there because I had paperwork I had to print out. I don't have a printer. I don't have the electrical power and that sort of thing. So I looked up a place in town, and I really don't like going to Staples and some of those other places. And I found a small independent business that printed documents, and I went, okay, I'm gonna join this and get and support the small business. And Spirit was like, don't go there. And I'm like, why wouldn't I go to the small business? And I showed up. Their internet was out. Their printers weren't working. Nothing was working in their shop. And I went, oh, got it. It wasn't that it was going to be a bad experience. It was technologically all their stuff was shut down. So I ended up having to go elsewhere. But even that, I mean, I listen to my intuition every day. At the same time, I said, no, I'm going to try and support the small business. I made an effort. I went against their advice. They were telling me don't go there because, you're not going to get anywhere with it. And I was like, but I want to make an effort to support the small local business, not Staples. Or I ended up going to Walgreens. And I was like, we're in not Walgreens across the street. But ultimately, I had to go there. So, my intuition was telling me one thing, and I went the other direction. It was one of these instances of not that I wasn't trusting that they were telling me this for a reason. I knew. I walked in the doors knowing. I'm like walking in, going, okay, why did they tell me not to come? and figured that out very quickly. In the beginning, a lot of times it's that idea of right turn, left turn, do this, do that. When I was working with Sasquatches and going up into the mountains and ETs, they would tell me park off to the side of the road. And there was one time they told me park over here, and I went, no, I don't want to park over there. I'm going to go over to this spot. And I didn't listen, and I went over to the other spot. I parked. I hiked the trail, and then realized that I had a 2 mile hike to get to where I wanted to go. There was a place on the trail I wanted to go. The parking spot that they told me to park at was right beside the place I wanted to go, but I didn't know that. And I didn't listen to them, thinking it was the other direction. And so I ended up having a 2 mile hike to that spot, only getting to be there for a little bit, and then having to hike the 2 miles plus back to the car. So trusting intuition became a thing that, as I listened to the advice or felt the advice, understood the feeling. Some people hear it, see it, feel it, dream it, however it comes through. The more I trusted that experience, the more that I ended up coming into a space of realizing, oh, it's right every time I listen to it. That's how I built trust with my experience. Looking at, okay, here's what they're telling me, and then if I follow it, on the days that I followed it, magic would happen. There was one time that I was going to go to Niagara Falls, and they went, "Don't go to Niagara Falls." We lived like 2.5 hours away. They were like, "Don't go there. Just go up to this road, turn right, or turn left. Go up to this road and turn left." And I was like, "There's no waterfalls up there." And they go, "Yeah, there is. There's waterfalls up there." I go, "No, there's not. There's not waterfalls up there." And we go up there. I turn left. I had moved back to that area about 6 months before then. I turned left and had lived in that area for most of my life. Go down and I follow their directions, turn left, turn, this, that. And by following their directions, I found a park that when I was in high school, we had gone. I was in a botany club type thing where you memorized the leaves of plants. And when we memorized the leaves of plants, we ended up um, going and having kind of like competitions at this park, at this nature park. And I always wanted to go back, but could never find it. Literally, no matter what I tried, I couldn't find it. I lived in the area, and here it was like the search radius that I had when I was searching for it. It was like 5 miles outside that search radius. It was a little farther out. And by trusting my intuition, I went down to this nature park, and here there were waterfalls everywhere, but they weren't like waterfalls you would expect constant. It had rained the night before, and there were cliffs, and there were waterfalls off the cliffs, but when it wasn't raining, they would dry up. But they took me to waterfalls because I trusted. I went, okay, get in the car, make turn right, turn left, do this, follow this, follow that, and it will take me to where I need to go. So I trusted that. The building of it, trusting that intuition is part of that process. Is just having those experiences where you feel something, you hear something, and you follow the advice using your discernment. Well, there is a level of discernment for people who are still cleansing their energy, who are still learning to uh, shift their vibration, hold a high vibration, that type of thing. There is an element of discernment to make sure you're listening to something that's of your highest good. For me, if it's like, hey, go find waterfalls, yeah, sure. But if there's a dark alley and it feels unsafe and you look down it and something's telling you go down there, no, no, you have to use your discernment and go, no, I'm going to go the route of safety and stick with myself, which also starts creating a boundary because the more you discern, and I have a workshop activation on Substack too for fear and discernment for anybody interested. Um, the more you discern, the more you start creating the energetic boundary of what energies are speaking to you, what energies are coming through, what energies are allowing yourself to receive. If you allow yourself to listen to the things that are not of your highest good, it's like keeping the channel open. If you think of having a bunch of radios, you have a bunch of radios, and each one's playing something and tuned to a different station. One might be Arcturian guides, one might be Sasquatches, fairies, one might be ancestors, one might be something very low in vibration. The ones you focus on are the ones that you're going to hear more, and the ones that you're listening to and you go, I don't like that channel, and you just stop listening to it and turn the radio off, and if it turns back on, you turn the radio off and just keep doing that. The more you set the boundary of, I'm not listening to that channel. So that's been a question that people have had about trusting what they're feeling and hearing and understanding. And a lot of it comes from practice, patience, persistence, continuing to build trust and go through those exercises of understanding what uh, what you should do, what uh, intuition you follow, what intuition you don't. Is it heart centered? Does it feel like it's in your heart? If it comes from without, a lot of people are like, how do I know it's my intuition and not my ego or something? Intuition typically feels like it comes from your heart or within, that space, like that energy space. If it's a guide, if it's an angel, a fairy, a galactic, anything, it's going to sound like it's coming from outside of you. It's going to feel like it comes from outside of you. There'll be energy. You'll feel like distance between that energy and you. If it's your ego, if it's yourself, it'll be inside of you, inside of your mind, usually somewhere in that space. And so the when those moments come up, feeling into it, just asking, do I feel this in my heart space? Do I feel this outside of me? Who is telling me this? And if somebody's telling it to you, if somebody's saying turn left and you feel it outside of yourself, then you feel your heart space. And an easy way to do that is you just put your hand over your heart. You feel your heart space and close your eyes and you just ask, what do I feel? Do I feel I should turn left, like they said? And you'll feel it in your body. We call it a full body yes. If you feel a full body yes, go left, go left. If you don't, then you have a decision of, do you turn right or do you listen to the voice? And that can sometimes be a discernment decision. So the whole point of that, trust and intuition, take time to develop, to enhance, to build as a skill. And I'm gonna give it a few more minutes before we start the light code for the giveaway. We have some people hopping on. Hey V, hey Stephanie, hey Katie. Some people hopping on. So give it a few more minutes, and then I'm going to start the light code for the giveaway. But trust and intuition are something that take time. They're skills a skill you build with energy. The more you clear your energy too, the more you clear the energy of negative people in your life, because their energy will affect your ability to be in tune with higher, more aligned experiences. The more you clear that from your life, the more you clear a toxic diet, the more you do all of those things that we talk about in the community as raise your vibration, shift into a higher awareness, higher consciousness. It's basically just coming back to being you without outside forces affecting who you are, is really what it comes down to. And when you get rid of those toxins, when you get rid of those things affecting your energy, the trust becomes very clear. It becomes much more beautiful channel of uh, ease and accessibility and flow and lightness, because the toxic stuff is out of the system. One of the things I can relate to with this is I gave up caffeine, I don't know, 3 years ago, something like that. And there was a phase for 6 months I was working on giving up caffeine. I would still get chai tea lattes from Starbucks, which have chemicals in them and also have high caffeine content and stuff. And I was trying to ease off of that. And when I finally did, I had shifted to different. I wean when I shift something out, I wean off and I find a replacement. I find a healthier replacement for that thing because it's easier to shift a habit into a new habit rather than shifting a habit into nothing. It's much easier for my energy anyway to have a different habit, but just a healthier version of that habit. So I had healthier drinks I was drinking at Starbucks. I don't remember what they were. They were like frappuccinos. They still had sugar and stuff in them, but they were healthier. And when I was doing that, my head was clear. I felt fine. And then I accidentally, I might have chosen to get one, but I know there was one point where I accidentally got the wrong drink and was drinking it at one point and was like, why does this taste like it has espresso in it? When those times happen, my channel completely fogs up. So when you get to a space where you want to build more trust in your intuition, you start to realize too that you have to eliminate different things from your experience to build a clearer channel. That's why we always say, like, you don't have to give up the things like caffeine being one of them that's the most common. But if you give up caffeine, your channel will clear immensely. That energy, that experience will clean because it's technically a toxin. Different things are toxins in our experience, and people, that can be food, habits, lack of sunlight. The more sunlight you get, it'll clear up. And what I experienced over the years, and what I've seen with others, is that the more they start taking care of themselves, honoring themselves, loving themselves, being more authentic, the more easily they trust their channel, the more easily they trust their intuition, the more the clearer. Uh, I got my dictionary here, but I'm like, I got stuff stacked on it. I've been using that a lot. It's been kind of fun. I don't think clearer is necessarily. It just sounds weird anyway. In the moment, it sounds weird. But a more clear, more effective channel comes through. And that all is because you're shifting your internal experience, shifting into a higher space, a more loving frequency that is not bogged down by the other stuff. And when it's not bogged down, it's very instant. You feel it come in, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I trust that. And then there's this idea that my guides are bringing up, that as you work with this, and you work with listening to your guides, you start to feel them. You start to hear them. Some of you might hear them in different voices. You might feel their energy. For me, I feel, and because I'm very clairvoyant, I get an image. So when a guide sends me a message, boom, it's an image. I'm like, oh, I know who this is, and I can feel the energy, the familiarity of it. I talk about it like, if you have a friend that you know really well, and you see them walking down the street and their back is turned to you and you just see the silhouette, you know the friend simply by the feeling of looking at them, in the silhouette. You don't need to see the details. You just look and you go, oh, hey, that's my friend. And you can feel the energy, the presence, the experience that uh, you're used to resonating at when they're around. And that's the same with spirit guides. It's the same with extraterrestrials, galactics, fairies, all these beings. The more you work with them, the more you feel automatically. As soon as you hear a voice or feel guidance, any of that, you're like, you can ask the question, where does that come from? And boom, the answer comes. You see it, you feel it, you might hear it, however that is for you. Everybody has a different experience. I have most of them right now. Most people, as they shift and are on the waking journey, they have like little bits. They might start off, some people start off feeling them, some people start off just seeing, some people get words. They'll get the word, the name, the even sometimes not an individual. It might just be like, it's Arcturians. Somebody reached out about Arcturians today. And so a lot of times you just get these words, you get feelings, visuals, all of that kind of thing, and not necessarily the uh, a clear visual, or anything. Music is another one that comes through. Music, some people hear music, they attribute that to different groups of beings that they're around. It's all individual experience. So the trust, the intuition comes with practicing that. with being able to continue to practice and be patient and understand it's a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not something that you just. I feel like a lot of people want a magic pill. They're like, I can't trust my intuition. I don't know what to do. Everybody I've worked with, there is no magic pill, but almost everybody I've worked with who has gained that experience has gone from coming to me and being in a space of not trusting it to 3, 6, 8, 12 months later coming back and being like, oh my God, everything we've been doing brought me to this space of being able to trust. But it takes a period of time to get to that space. And then they have to make their own decisions in their life of shifting whatever it is they need in the moment. I had one client in the spirit art activation who had a lot of trust because of ancestral wounding, and the ancestral wounding was deep. And they on a space of like having a super clean, what people would call a super clean spiritual lifestyle. They don't necessarily have that, um, but the just the ability of being able to work through with patience and having somebody like I was on the side being like, yes, continue doing this, continue doing that. You're doing well. They are now in a space of just seeing extraterrestrials and then drawing them, drawing and being like, oh, and it's okay. There was an experience the one client had where I think they were with a friend or something, and they saw two extraterrestrials standing by a tree, and it didn't freak them out. They weren't afraid. They just went, oh, okay, and pulled out their pad and started drawing while they were having this conversation or something. So, but those people don't get to those spaces without doing the work of practice, patience, persistence, and doing something to practice that. Some people practice cleansing their vessel, and that does the trick. Some people practice spirit art or um, uh, automatic writing or meditation, or they do different things. Everybody's journey is different. The key is to figure out what is the practice you want to take to start trusting and believing your intuition. And one of the key things I can say is to start journaling. Anytime you have intuitive feelings, journal your intuitive feelings. And if you make a decision based on those feelings, journal the result of the decision. So if you feel something and um, uh, I think yesterday, I was talking to my guides about abundance. And I was talking to them about abundance. And as soon as we got done talking, I was kind of like, okay, well, maybe that's what happens. And they were giving me some information of things to do and stuff. And as soon as I got off the connection, just sitting outside in the sunlight, a huge grasshopper flies by, and when they're in the desert, they're huge. They sound like jet engines. It flew by, landed in the garden right beside me, and I saw where it landed. I got up, I walked over. There was no grasshopper. Disappeared, gone, kaput. Grasshoppers are a symbol of abundance. We had just gotten done, like literally 2 milliseconds after the connection cut, and I'm sitting there going, okay, well, maybe grasshopper, boom, disappears. And grasshoppers are a big. I have a grasshopper. I have a light being spirit who likes to present as grasshoppers, and so I knew in that moment, boom, trust it, believe it. Anything like that happens, journal it. And then when it comes to the result of the intuition and the experience you're feeling, go back in your journals, journal the result, but also go back. Excuse me. Go back and remind yourself of the wins. Remind yourself that you are are following the intuitive experience and it's turning into something beneficial. It's turning into something that is aligning a magical experience, helpful, whatever it is, in making life easier and just more beautiful in general. So the journal is something I even started journaling again just because I was like, I need something to do to fill my time. I have a lot of time on my hands right now. And I started journaling the little things because I normally don't. I have so much stuff that happens, but then I go back through every once in a while. Oh yeah, that thing happened. That was really cool. I'll go back through one day and that grasshopper, years down the road, I might flip through the pages and read that and be like, oh yeah, that was really cool when that happened. And have these moments of just beauty and validation around those little intuitive experiences that build more trust in your team and your experience. When I was really working with my team, and I don't have them in the shed, they're in my car. I have several journals that over the course of the year, I just kept filling journals with stuff, intuitive experiences, all kinds of things that came through and were experienced uh, over the course of a year or two to build that really strong connection and experience of being able to just know who was coming in and feeling it and really believing I am protected, believing I am connected and that type of thing. And then understanding that a lot of the stuff I was hearing wasn't negative. A lot of people they're like, how do I know if it's negative or not? And a lot of times it's the doubt, the fear that creates that. And so working on the fear, reducing that, reducing the doubt, doing things that the journals help reduce the doubt because you look back and go, oh yeah, that thing happened. Oh yeah, I felt this was going to happen and then it actually happened. And you can validate yourself in that way. All right. Well, it's been about 30 minutes. I think we've given enough time for people to start hopping on. And we're going to start the light code process. Can you guys comment? Okay, let me know in the comments. Uh, this is kind of the first time getting used to this, and just drop a yes or no in there. I'm gonna point this at the drawing pad, and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna draw a light code, and that light code is going to have the energy of a word. I'm not going to tell you what the word is. Thank you, everybody. Awesome. I'm not going to tell you what the word is. What I will tell you is that I'm giving these away. These little cute little dragons, emotion dragons. Um, the way I'm going to run this and others, I took me forever to figure this out. And of course, the day of, my guys are like, "Here's how we're going to do it." We're going to do a light code kind of activation, energy awareness for people to feel into and meditate on. And as I'm drawing it, and then as I'm drawing it, if you feel the word come to mind, drop it in the comments. The first time watching a Substack live, I was wondering if the comments work. Awesome. I'm glad they do. Um, as I'm drawing, uh, drop into the comments if you feel the word pop in. It has nothing. It's kind of side adjacent to dragons. It's not really about dragons, but it's adjacent. Is all the clue I'll give you. Um, but this is about trusting your intuition, and I think I might do more of these where I show the artwork as I'm drawing it, and then as I'm drawing it, have people try to feel into what the artwork is. So that's what we're going to do. And again, just it's going to be the first person I see that gets it right. At the end, if nobody's gotten it right, but somebody was close enough, I might take a close enough. If nobody gets it right, what we decided was that we'll just keep doing this until somebody does. But this is about trusting your intuition and building that trust. And we were like, this is a cool little exercise we can do with people live, giving away some stuff. I have other things too. Like I have, I don't know, I've got like these booklets and postcards in the future. I got some cool alien postcards and little figure trolls. If anybody remembers trolls and alien figurines, all kinds of little stuff that I'll give away as sets. Um, I like wandering around and going into toy stores. But this all has to do too with the authentic children. So those of you who haven't read The Authentic Children or haven't seen that yet, that's a series of posts that have activations and meditations and storytelling. The next one coming up is Sasquatch, on my list to hopefully finish tomorrow. But I have the Sasquatch activation coming up. The last ones were about dragons. And with that, I might do some little things like that as we go on. Okay, so I'm going to get started here. Let me put this down. And yeah, I can't flip the camera. I have to be careful about flipping the camera right away because I don't want you to see the word. Because I do have the word, and I'm going to show that at the end here. See if this works. Cool. Okay, so I can see the comments. Good. Yeah, I can see the comments. Okay, we got the paper here. All right, so for anybody watching, maybe we can put these little guys. I don't know if you can see them too well. Let's do this. Maybe I can do that, put them around and just make it a little decorative, I guess. There we go. Put that, there we go. That'll be a little better. Decorative. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start drawing and then again, feel into it. Start putting guesses down as it goes, and don't just guess, but really feel into it with your intuition. What I'm going to do is at the beginning of this, I'm just going to set an intention and take a few deep breaths. So just take a few deep breaths with me, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And breathe in, holding, out through the mouth, breathing in through the nose, holding, centering ourselves, and out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose, holding for a second, centering ourselves, and breathing out through the mouth. And we're just going to set an intention here. We only work with beings of the highest good, the highest benevolence, the realms of right, the golden light of source, who operate with love and light and benevolent purpose and intention. We are sovereign. It is so. And I do that just in particular. When you get to this space, you don't always have to do that, but I teach that because when you're starting to do readings and channelings, it's important for people to set the intentions, which is also a thing of trust, a thing of intuition, making sure you're setting the intention to trust your intuition more. So we're going to get started here. I have a friend. Yeah, yeah, he's coming through. I don't know why he's picking this color, but I have a friend who is coming through to connect with people, bring more energy in. We've talked a lot about some of the energies they are connected with in the authentic extraterrestrial. And they are, yeah, they just want me to draw, kind of talk at the same time. Trust your intuition. And if you feel anything coming up, and it might take a while, these are layered pieces of art, might take a while for something to come through. And it's actually very interesting because I've only done this one other time looking through the camera, and I'm looking through the camera drawing right now, letting them kind of guide the experience. See what happens as we go. And bringing through their energy. This is something that we thought about doing. I was out there today, like, what are we going to do with this? No idea. And of course, Spirit in the moment was like, this is what you're going to do. Gave me kind of an idea. And we'll see what comes up. And then I'll have more of these too that I just do in regular form, I think, where we draw some stuff. I have some other beings and some friends close by who want energies drawn, creating activations. And what I might do too is actually, guys, Yeah. Okay, so whoever wins this will also get the light code, the physical light code. I'll take a picture of it for myself, maybe scan it. I got a scanner in the car somewhere. Any ideas, any feelings going on? Just drop them into the comments. First person to guess the energy will get the prize. Get the prize of the little dragon peoples. This is a pretty cool group of dragon figurines I found too, just off of a random toy store I ran into out in Santa Fe. Okay, I'm going to use this. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera though. Sometimes it doesn't show up on camera. Oh no, it's showing up. Okay, good. Some energy in there. And these are light codes. So this is very much akin to a mini reading. If you haven't had a mini reading yet, this is kind of what I do on a mini reading. I draw like this. We used to do them live, and then I kind of needed a change. I'm somebody who needs a lot of variety, change things up a lot. But on the mini readings, we do this. We layer energy in, and as this is happening, energy is flowing through my hand, through the pen. Sometimes I'm drawing, sometimes they're drawing. Depends on the moment. For the most part, I just don't even think about my hand. I don't have any thought in my hand. It's just them doing their thing, guiding, and my body just knows, follow the instruction because I've done it for so long. No ego involved, just wherever the pen flows, and that's how we do it. And intuitively picking different markers. See what comes up. Activating codes of some of the different realms that this being, that's just another clue, this being operates with. Yeah, hopefully comments are populating. I don't see anything. Oh, yep, yeah, okay, there we go. Love how those colors blend. Yeah. They it's funny. They're not Crayola, they're very cheap neon color markers that I can only get in Ohio at it's a place called um, drug no I don't, it's like a drug mart. It's not called drug mart. It's something, but it's like an Ohio chain. And I've been other places throughout the US and cannot find cheap neon markers like this. And these are the ones that work the best for the energy that we work with. The layers, I don't know. Sometimes they come out as faces, sometimes they don't. Oftentimes, what happens with these, for anyone who doesn't um, for anyone who doesn't or hasn't had one of these, is there's all kinds of stuff as you stare at it that will come through based on the activation you might need, the energy. Anybody have any ideas? You know, maybe they'll give me another clue. Here's layer and code upon code. What's frustrating is right now I can actually, I can feel the stories they're telling in the codes, because there are stories in these codes, and I feel and see them and hear them, and that as I draw transformation, excuse me, transformation is all I've heard since before you started, but I'm not sure if that's related. Now, we're looking, I'll give you a couple clues. So it is a name, side adjacent to dragons, not a dragon. Trying to see if there's anything else, I can give, but trust your intuition, and then I might just give a couple more clues as time goes on, and we'll go from there. And if somebody just gets it from the clues, that's fine too. This is also the first one of these I'm doing, so we'll see how it goes. And if you guys like this, I'll keep doing these. I have some ideas for other things I want to do. And we'll go from there. It does deal a lot with transformation. I can say that. Trying to think if any probably not the most common, I guess, being that people work with, but becoming far more common. Oh, there's a Merkaba in there somewhere. I can feel it. I can't see it though. Some more color, and then I'll do a final stuff. And we'll go from there. And then with the overlays, even though we've been overlaying, these are like bigger overlays. Keep feeling into that. Symbols are and we'll go here. And then what else here? I'm going to go with the pen. So the next clue I'll give you, let's see. What's the next clue? Okay, I think it makes it too easy, but maybe not. Castle. Castle is the next clue I'm allowed to say. keep forgetting what year it is. I guess technically it just started my 2026. Maybe that's why I always struggled with years, because it was never my year when people were like, the year changed. My year doesn't change until 2 days ago, 20th. Okay. Anything coming up for anybody? Feeling anything? Seeing anything? Hearing anything? Whatever comes to mind. Castle did not make it easy. Okay, they said that, and I was like, that just makes it too easy. But I'm, I have a different background. Um, think, um, think and feel into uh, witch, druid, warlock, wizard, spellcaster, that type of thing. Wyvern, no, no, not a wyvern. It's a person, a being, um, named person. They do have historical significance. Well, not like historical, mythological significance, I guess. Historical to some of us, depending on how we're talking about history. Merlin. Yes, Katie got it. It's the first. Yep, Katie got it. Katie is the winner of these little peoples. So you get to get these. So afterwards, I'll reach out and see here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Afterwards, I will reach out and get your address. Don't let me forget either. Um, I have to figure out how to reach out to you. Not I see your screen name is just Katie. So and an orange thing. Okay. Yep. And I even had it. And I'm almost. Let me finish this up, and then I'll show you the. Anything else, guys? Right here. I just have a couple more of these to do. A teardrop type thing here. There. I feel like I need my black marker for one more scrawl. And then we'll talk a little bit more. Okay. So there's that there. Lightcode, lots of stuff in it. What I was going to show you is over there. Let me pull my phone off here and turn it around. See if I can do this easily. I don't know. Probably not. Oh, you know what I can do? I can leave it on there and then just turn it up. Right there is the word Merlin. I made sure I opened my dictionary up to it. And that's kind of how I was like, I need a way to write the word so that it's kind of, not changed when we're doing it. It can be like, yeah, I didn't change the word. Guides didn't change it. It's right there. Opened up to the page of my gigantic dictionary. The biggest, it's a huge dictionary. So yeah, it's Merlin. There's a lot of light codes in there about fairy energy, and this is for anybody to use. I'm going to take a picture of it. Um, Actually, I wonder if I can do this. I'm going to take a picture of it like while we're doing this. Move those in a little bit closer. So I take a screenshot too for later as well. Okay. And if I take a screenshot like that, cool. All right, so I'll take a picture of this too, and I'm going to post it on the Substack for people to meditate on and work with. Katie, I'll send the original to you. There are codes in there about unicorn. There's unicorn energy up here. There was a castle storyline up here, some fairy energies. This is his name, I believe, in some other energetic language that he was writing. You can almost kind of see it actually if you think of this as an Merlin. You can almost see it, but it's like an energetic version. There's also an avian, two eyes and a beak that I'm seeing. There was a lot of crown energy, a lot of stuff coming through. The wizard staff. I figured as I drew this that might give it away, but it didn't. It's like a wizard staff type of thing. Um, what else is in there? Transformation. He does work a lot with transformation, so that's part of why you picked up on that, Kristen. It just wasn't the full right word type of thing. But this is very transformational energy. Um, he helps with a lot of dragon energy, connection to Fey mythological types of stuff, dragons, unicorns, fairies, things you would find in Arthurian legend, which is like Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur, Camelot. There was a storyline up here where they were telling me there as I'm doing the story, um, the light code for that remembrance. They're talking to me about castles and fortresses, and I'm like, yeah, but if I say that, that's probably going to give it away. And then you didn't pick up on that, so I'm like, okay, that's just me. That's my thinking because I'm so used to the storylines. Um, there's some other stuff in here. There's a sword in the stone. Something about sword in the stone storyline here. Picking up the impossible, doing the impossible. Um, just feeling into some of the energy and talking to them as we're doing this. Some music, something about music. These black lines that I did, there's something musical about them. And then what else? Uh, Portal of energy. The purple was a portal of with the unicorn energy over here, and uh, other stuff to meditate on. They're saying other stuff to meditate on. But yeah, that is Merlin's energy, a light code to help people connect with that energy and meditate on. And then if anything else comes up, I'll place it also with the email when it goes out with the image of it, and we'll see what happens. How did that go? Did you guys enjoy it doing it that way? Let me see. I'm going to turn my camera around here. So let's see here. If I do this, I think if I do that, yeah, there. I'll bring my light a little bit closer. Kind of doesn't help with how awkward the space is to do that because I don't have like a. It'd be nice if I had enough signal to do. If I had it my way, I'd I'd have like my phone set up in my laptop, and I'd be using my laptop, but I don't have enough signal to do both. Can't see people's comments though. Can anybody else see people's comments? I definitely see all of the comments, and I that might be a Substack thing. I'm still learning the how to use all these features. Lynn, okay, you saw that. It looked like it might have just popped on too. Yeah. So the idea for anybody watching this, popping on now or watching this later, the idea was that we had that giveaway for these little dragony figurines that I've been pushing on social media. I might go buy some more of these at some point. I kind of like them. Oh, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to see the comments. Looks like V can see comments. Maybe it's something on the screen or something like that. I'll have to see if I can find a reason. Again, I'm getting used to Substack too, and that's part of it. So Kristen says she couldn't see the comments at first, then clicked on the comments and could see the others. So maybe just click on the comments at the bottom maybe it says comments or where it says write message. And I think I'm going to do more stuff like this where kind of not always giving something away, but one of the ideas we had was doing some drawings, telling the stories and doing the drawing at the same time, where it's less pressure than like a mini reading and having to channel for a bunch of people. Um, but then I'm still channeling technically anyway because like the one group that's out here wants to do it. All the beings on the land are like, do it for us too, that type of thing. But the idea of doing something like that where we have some sort of light code or some sort of drawing, maybe I give them away, uh, which would work because I could. It's just a stamp to send some of the art. Um, do giveaways like that and kind of give back to the people who are supporting me while that's going on, because that's a good way to uh, people to get artwork, some light codes, activations, especially for Substack subscribers, and getting some participation in a different way that's not a Q&A. And you can always ask questions too. If anybody has questions, drop questions in. If you have questions about what we did, anything that went on, or anything in general, the idea is to I've been trying to look for something that's more than just a Q&A is the point. More than just me sitting there answering questions, but creating at the same time and in a productive way that is not as draining. The like the mini readings, I like doing them, but I like doing just one or two at a time versus we were doing those. We were doing, sometimes 10, 15 mini readings on a live, and it just got to be too much. So I started pulling that back and going, okay, what's the next thing? What have we learned from this? We learned that people like this, but what have we learned with this experience? Do I have an experience about Merlin to share? Um, well, I didn't until he was like, "Yeah, you do," and popped a memory in my head. And it's literally something that happened 4 weeks ago. I I often forget that with all these beings, I'm like, do I? Okay, which one? Where? I had when Bailey showed up a few weeks ago. There's a lot of fear transmutation in the collective right now, and when I spend too much time in the cities and stuff, I start transmuting it through my system just automatically. A lot of us, we just do that automatically. You can't stop it. You're in this space, you're resonating, trying to hold a high frequency, and your high frequency is trying to transmute all the crap in that space. And when Bailey came, she lives in that space every single day. Um, it took about 2 days, and then I got kidney stone issues. And anytime I've had them, what we realized is every time I spend more than like 2 days with her, I have my kidneys flare. My kidneys flare up like I'm having kidney stones. And when we feel into it, that's what we're feeling. But the crazy thing too is it's both sides. It's not like one kidney passing. It's like both sides are having issues. And um, and I don't know much about kidney stones. Maybe that's normal. I don't think it is. I think if you have one, it's like in a kidney and it passes through and all that. But both sides start acting up. I start getting into a lot of pain. And the last time that I had it bad was in Shasta, where I couldn't walk. People would literally walk into the room. And when they walked into the room, my kidneys would like this immense pain would just go bam and hit my system, and to the point where it would make me almost fall to the ground. And so that final day when that was happening, I finally told Bailey, I was like, I can't do this. Every time people are coming into the room, we have to leave. So we left the event at Shasta. As soon as I got away from the people, I started getting better. As soon as I got away from the density of all the people at that event, and were working on me, my energy, like my kidneys started they were fun. They started working out. We had some things we were doing, sound frequency, a T, and all that. But this most recent time, she came up, and it was 2 days in. We had not gotten into a fight. It was she asked a question. Spirit said the same thing they have said 1,000 different times. She got angry at Spirit, and I could feel the anger because we're uh, mirrors. We're very close mirrors to each other, and I can feel the anger. And I was like, why am I feeling so much anger? And it wasn't mine. It was the anger from. It was her anger about the issue that I was feeling. So I had that awareness and was like, oh, okay. And it poof, it disappeared. But then I walked into the shed, and literally 30 seconds later, boom, my kidneys went bam. And uh, I started having issues like within 30 seconds. It wasn't a gradual, hey, slow pain, something happening, what's going on. It was like bam, instant. And so I talked to her and I'm like, hey, we got to figure this out. Why is it every time that we're together, I have this issue? What is going on? And she asked if she could do light language on me, and I went, yeah, I could do light language, and because that works, and we played some sound frequencies, and so I laid down. She did her light language healing, and Merlin came through, and as she's doing it, I can see Merlin and see other beings working on my energy, and literally the kidney stones like disintegrating, basically disintegrating, completely disintegrating, completely disappearing. And what we learned through Merlin, as he was there, he was talking to me and her, and he said it's primarily because when we're together, first of all, collective fear transmutation happens, and then with her living in that density, and then when we're together, because we're so close to each other, we're very very soul connected. Uh, there's like a connection that's made, and so a lot of the stuff that she's carrying filters through me and grounds through me, and I transmute it and help her transmute a lot of the stuff. But then the transmutation through me turns into physical kidney stones. And I've read stories about that. About I was like, it made complete sense. I've read stories. For some people, it's gallbladder stones, and it doesn't. It's like the kidney section is filtering it, and it turns into kidney stones, and that's why it's like boom, they're there. And not only are they there, they're in like both kidneys coming causing problems, and then also it's why we're able to go in energetically and disintegrate the kidney stones, and poof, they're gone. um, she did her light language. Merlin helped in that scenario. She didn't know who he was. She When he showed up, she didn't know who he was. He showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm telling her what I was seeing and stuff, and how Merlin came, and she's like, it's like this like very fatherly, wise, yeah, yep, wise energy. He's always glowing. Like when I see him, I don't see him in a traditional fantasy wizard type of robe. He's more of a druid than a wizard, but I think they call him a wizard, but Celtic lore, it's more of a druid. And he always shows up in like very white clothing, pristine white clothing, long white beard, white scraggly hair, and just yellow. Like his aura is all yellow, gold, white around him. Never seen him physically other than in that kind of energy space. And he was talking to me and telling me like why it was happening while she's doing her light language. And I was understanding, okay, when I'm with her, we just need to we need to be aware of a couple things. We might have to like step to the side so she can do light language to help break the stones apart, and then within a day I'm fine. Within hours, I was fine within hours. Let me put it that way. And just drinking water to help flush anything that's physically there out of the system. So yeah, I've had experiences with him like that. He's come, like I talked to him on and off, but like an experience in the sense of a world or a place or him physically appearing, not really. Um, I he's a guide, but he's not like a constant. I guess is the idea. He's not always around. Um, I'm more of a connector for him. I'm more somebody that people show up in my life, and I go, Merlin wants to talk to you, and connect them to Merlin, to fairies, to Arthurian legend, to unicorns, dragons. That's all that type of energy, and wizardry and magic and all kinds of stuff. And like the one thing I feel pointing Saint talk to point out the idea of the sword in the stone doing something that feels completely challenging and impossible, but doing it anyway, deciding to do it and just pull the sword out of the stone. Um, those types of stories. So people come to me and then I activate them, and I have several clients who came to me and uh, we're seeing some old man type of thing. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Merlin. And then months go by, and that's all they're doing, working with him over and over and over again for his tribe that is closer to him. Any other questions about any of that? Let's see here. Did you figure out the comments, Katie? Did they come up for you? It's interesting. It says I have 6 viewers, but I only see 4. I'm gonna have to look into why that is. Um, yeah. Again. Okay. Well, I'll look into some of those things and see if I can come up with an awareness of it so that I know as well. If it's maybe it's a device or something like that. Um, and that way I just have some tech tips to share as people start joining these. There isn't much in the comments to begin with, but it'll be nice to figure that out so I know in the future. All right. Any other questions coming up? Curiosities? And then congratulations again, Katie. I will touch base with you and get these sent out. I'm doing the mail on Tuesday. I had a batch of mail to do, and I was like, this is perfect timing for me to send this as well. And then for anybody else that's watching this later, because I'm going to save it and share it, if you're not a paid subscriber, the giveaways are part of that paid subscriber experience for the most part. And there are other benefits for subscribing to. Whether you're free or paid, free subscribers get all kinds of benefits too, free articles, portions, and different things. And then the paid subscribers get more tools into meditations, activations, free workshops, events. We have events coming up on Arcturians and technology, Sasquatches and nature, dragons, saurians, and dinosaurs. I think those are, ET Phone Home is next weekend. So there'll be an event next weekend, Sunday morning, I think I have it scheduled for, where we do kind of some extraterrestrial storytelling activations, do a short meditation, and then kind of share experiences. And for anybody that wants to jump on camera, let me see. I think I can do that. I think I was told yeah, I can do that. Um, it'll be one of those things afterwards. We'll do a Q&A about what we talked about and the meditations. And for anybody that wants to share their experience, they'll be able to jump on and share on the video chat or just through comments and that type of thing. So other than that, I think I'm going to stop it there. It doesn't look like anything's coming through. Yeah, thank you, Katie. Super fun. And let me know, everybody, afterwards when I post this, or on the notes and wherever you communicate with me, how you liked it, what you thought of it. Because if people like it, I'm going to continue doing that type of thing and just telling the story alongside the drawing. I have some of my own artwork I want to do. This type of thing is more of a spirit art reading, so meaning that spirit um, chooses the markers, chooses the things to do. And I want to do some more my creativity stuff where I'm telling a story, but I'm doing like, okay, I'm going to work intuitively in tandem with spirit, but we're also going to do it Will's way of this is what I want to do. And we're going to channel the story into it, but I'm going to be like, these are the tools I want to use because I have fun with these and I want to do this and I want to do that. And just play with some different things for my own authentic space rather than just what they tell me to do, which is usually what we do, is usually just what they tell me. So we'll see what comes of it. Much love and gratitude, everybody. I will save this and let me know if you have any questions. There will be more giveaways at some point, and we'll go from there. Bye, everyone.